The Government of Canada confirmed the principal terrorist threat to our country is domestic extremists who could carry out an attack on home soil. And from what the Canadian Security and Intelligence Service tells us, at least 60 returnees have, as of this recording, fought alongside the Islamic State and now live among us. These terrorist travelers usually walk free when they come home, even after admitting they've engaged in crime abroad. In fact, only 2 returnees have ever been charged, and not even one has been successfully prosecuted. That's because the police often can't lay charges due to flimsy laws, and the Liberals actually believe simply reintegrating these terrorists into society is the solution. Global News reported on a man who traveled from Canada to Syria and was assigned to the Islamic State's morality police. It was part of his job to punish civilians for things like flirting, listening to music, or even having a cigarette. Some of the documented punishments for breaking ISIS rules include anything from being locked in a cage to beheadings and crucifixions. Now, this returnee lives a relatively normal life in Toronto, resides in a nice house, and even attends university instead of being locked in a jail cell. The police even paid a visit to this terror tourist after he made social media posts publicly admitting to being an ex-ISIS member. But that wasn't enough evidence to charge him. Many would respond to this by suggesting the police need to get tough on terrorism. But making laws for police to enforce is actually up to the government. What's more is that the Public Prosecution Service of Canada says council has to consider if there's a reasonable prospect of conviction based on evidence available at trial. So even if the police lay charges, it can be difficult to convict and sentence returnees. Consider the case of Kevin Omar Mohammed, who traveled to Syria from Canada to join ISIS. Upon returning, he found out he was under surveillance, so he fled his home in Whitby, Ontario, and was later caught by police with a large hunting knife. A weapons charge stemming from that incident later turned into a terror charge he pled guilty to. But Mohammed's was a rare case. His guilty plea is what landed him a prison sentence. The commonality between the ex-morality officer and Mohammed is that social media was used to admit affiliations with ISIS. But that's weak evidence in Canada. This man from Fort St. John made 85 pro-ISIS posts on Facebook that celebrated Islamic State advances, encouraged assault and murder, and detailed plans on carrying out terrorist attacks. He was acquitted after using the defense that the posts were political satire. Justin Trudeau promotes controversial legislation like Bill C-6 that allows dual citizens that have been convicted of terrorism to keep their Canadian citizenship. Among those is Zachariah Amara, one of the Toronto 18 that plotted elaborate terrorist attacks, including beheading former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. It was Canadian law enforcement and our security agencies that put a stop to those plans. But instead of making the job of our security agencies easier by targeting these extremists and pushing legislation that would allow for law enforcement to charge known extremists, the Liberals choose to be soft on terror. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter so that you don't miss the other side of the story in Canadian news.